Um, where is that? So did you actually open it before, Dave? Oh.
Oh, you're live on YouTube.
Whoa.
Facebook is on.
I'm looking. Hi, everyone. Just checking to see if we're actually live, although Dave says we are. Oh, Dave. How do we get to Living on a Dime with you? Are you a mod?
Oh, no. No. Stop.
We need to see that we're on.
Bruh.
Hey there, everyone. So, today is the Mike and Dave show, and Dave is verifying that we're actually live.
Yes, we are live.
All right. Today we're going to make sweet and sour chicken. I was going to make something else, but when I talked to the boys, they were like, and then they said, can we have sweet and sour chicken? And I thought, sure, we can do that.
And he was like, no.
Okay, at first I said no.
You will eat my enchilada.
You will eat what I make.
So Jack, read what Dad's hat says to everybody.
What does my hat say, Jack?
May the forks.
May the forks be with you. Oh, here we go. Yay. All right. So, hello, everyone. Love the matching apron. Yes. I did not know this one, but Tara, who's not working, found it and gave it to me. So, hello. Yay. Where's the chainsaw? Well, Crystal, actually, it's funny is
Sorry.
Dave found that picture at the last moment, and I was thinking if we could have had one on, I would have, because I think that would be hilarious. Although we probably would have had a bunch of horrified viewers. So, all right. Well, today we're going to make sweet and sour chicken. And Dave, you can probably come over here. Well, unless you want to. Love the apron. Yay, a cooking show. Hooray. Yeah, it's Chef Mike. All right, ditching the grind. Looking forward to this show, Mike. Thank you. Yay, all right. I'm looking forward to this show, too. After some talking shows, I'm ready for a doing show. So, all right now, we're making the sweet and sour chicken. Dave is going to share the link here.
Oh, I will?
Yeah.
I'm on the wrong side of the computer.
Why don't you come over here for a second, then when I start to actually cut it, then you can do that.
Clicking
We
it.
are not making it. You are making it.
What?
We are not making it. You are making it.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Mike
Okay,
is making it.
Dave, come
Huh?
here. I need you to post the link.
Oh, I have him.
Oh, okay.
Which link?
So Dave is going to put the link in, the one for the recipe.
Okay, cool.
Because this recipe is not in Dining on a Dime, although the sweet and sour sauce recipe is in Dining on a Dime. So Dave's going to come over here as soon as he gets the camera resituated, and we're going to work together on this side. So, all right, Dave, when you get a moment, we'll go ahead and come down here. As you can see, I've got some huge chicken breasts here, and Dave shared that recipe. If you missed it, is this stuff in the way?
No.
Okay. If you missed it, where Dave shared the recipe, it's on the front page of our website at livingonadime.com. So, I'm cutting. So we have 3 chicken breasts, and these are ginormous. So we probably don't need this much just for Dave and Jack and me. I don't think Tara's going to actually eat this. And the thing we were thinking is everyone loves this, so make it a little extra, and probably BJ and Ellie will have some when they get home. So I'm going to cut up this chicken, first of all, into bite-sized pieces. Oh, yeah, by the way, guys, while I'm cutting this, we are on the last day of our New Year's sale. And the New Year's sale, Dave will share the link for that also, or you can go to livingonadime.com and click on the store. The New Year's sale is, we have discounts on the How to Save Money on Groceries e-course and on the How to Organize and Clean Your Home, because those are things we thought people would really want right now while everybody's maybe still in the midst of cleaning and organizing, and hopefully if you have New Year's resolutions, they're more permanent than, all the ones that have expired before today. So, all right, so first of all, I'm going to go ahead and cut this chicken. And meanwhile, Dave, if you see any comments or whatever you want to share, please do. So I'm cutting this into bite-sized pieces, guys. Is there anything
Nope.
to share?
They're
No?
all talking to each other.
All right. Normally, I might have cut some of this ahead of time, but we just came back from school. That is Jack's school. And we picked him up and came straight back here and set up for the show. It's funny doing the cooking shows without Tara, though. And I was kind of glad because at first I was thinking, she is here at the house, But at first I was thinking, am I going to be able to find all the stuff that she has? Some of the stuff I bought just for the show, but some of the other stuff, trying to locate it would have been interesting without her. So, ooh, this could be chicken cutting EMDR.
AMSR? I mean ASMR.
Oh, ASMR.
Sorry, I'm having dyslexia a moment right now.
Yeah. EMDR is actually another thing.
What is EMD? Here, I'll Google it.
It's it's a psychological
eye movement designation and reprocessing.
desensitization.
Oh yeah, desensitization.
No, did I say that right?
Yeah, Wait.
Desensitization.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. I can't. Ugh.
Yeah, so as
I'm
we're...
an issue.
Oh, hey, have you seen Amy T on yet?
Hang on.
Gotta tell Amy happy birthday.
Well, she's not on YouTube.
Well, it's belated for her now.
Well, I know when I actually
That count, 'cause it's not hers.
when I actually saw that it was her birthday,
Oh, we should have
it
gone
was
on this
already
morning.
later. So for those of you who don't know, Amy lives in Australia, and so by the time I realized it was her birthday, it was already midnight there. So.
So excited to watch you today. Well, thank you, Amy.
Who is that?
Amy Singer.
Ah, thanks, Amy.
Reen wants to know, why is she not cooking? She hasn't been here. Wait.
So for those of you who are wondering and who haven't already heard, Tara's taking sort of a sabbatical. We'd like to say it's a sabbatical, but she's having a hard time keeping herself away.
Oh, excuse me. 300 questions about the show.
So we
300 questions about how you cook it normally on a normal day.
oh well, today's show I did ask her some questions. On the other shows, I happened to mention what I was thinking about, and she heard me, and we ended up talking a lot more than we should have about it. So anyway, she's for those of you who've been around a while, Tara has kind of been overwhelmed for a long time, and we tried to kind of give her a break earlier that didn't work out so well. So now she's taking a break from being on the shows until sometime in February.
Suzanne Pullard wants to know, do you enjoy cooking, Mike?
Actually, I do like it, and I'm not really in a hurry right now. I don't often cook for the family. More often than that, I cook things for myself when others are, like to take to lunch or something like that. So I really do like. Normally for myself, I cook really simple stuff. Like I will put rice and beans in a plastic container, and then I'll put rice and beans in a plastic container. Then I will grill some chicken, and I'll usually grill a lot of extra chicken, so I have some in an extra container, and I will I'll put a couple pieces of chicken, little pieces or else a big piece, in there with the rice and beans, that kind of thing. I make a lot of kind of Mexican-like dishes, although they're not super fancy, but they usually have the themes that Mexican food would have. Let's see. Okay, so now that I have this in the bite-sized pieces, I'm going to go ahead and, it says season with salt and pepper, so I'm going to do that. And then I'm also going to do, for the kind of breading, I'm going to take some cornstarch and eggs. And just trying to make sure I got all this. This is a big pile of chicken here. Yeah, and actually I do like cooking. One thing I'm doing, since this is raw chicken, I want to be really careful not to spread around any...
Amy T!
Happy birthday, Amy!
Happy birthday!
Or happy late birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Happy birthday in America. On our side of the world, it's still your birthday, so yay! I guess I shouldn't put too much pepper on here. So, since this is raw chicken, I'm only handling it with my left hand. And I'm going to wash my hand here in a minute once I get done with the parts that I need to actually touch the chicken. Okay, so I did that. Now, I'm going to wash my hand. Hey, Dave, you can probably bring the camera. Well, actually, leave the camera down. I'll be right back there.
Now I'll watch you washing your hands.
So, now I'm going to take... So there's several ways to do this recipe. And if you look at the link that Dave is sharing, that is describing baking it. But you bake it for an hour, and we would do that if it was for Tara and me, but for the kids, they really like 1.5 cups. Okay, so this is 1.5 cups of cornstarch. I'm guessing how much that is. That's probably a little too much. I'm gonna pour some of that back because this is a clean bowl. All right. Normally, when Tara and I would do it, at the time that we put this recipe together, when we were making it for ourselves, we were trying to keep the calories down, so we weren't frying it. But the boys like it much better. Can you give me another plate or another? One of those other white bowls. At the time, we were trying to keep the calories down for ourselves, but the boys and all the kids like it better fried.
Yeet. It just tastes more wholesome.
More wholesome. Okay, so this calls for 3 eggs, and if you don't know, the purpose of the eggs is to create basically a carrier to keep the cornstarch stuck on the chicken, and then when we fry it in the pan, it will make a kind of a breading or a crust on the outside. So I'm going to take that and beat these eggs a little bit so that they're great for dipping that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dip the chicken first into the egg a little bit and then into the cornstarch. Oh, except I forgot to start the stove. So maybe I'll wait to do that part until after the stove warms up just a little. So, hey, dear, who's not working?
I'm not working.
If you were the housewife cooking this,
No.
okay, I'll wait.
Yes, what?
I'm gonna wait. Well, I was gonna say I probably should heat up the oil before I start dunking it, right? Yeah. So.
You can wash your hands and work on the sauce while it's warm. Cool.
All right. So what I'm going to do, because I forgot to heat up the oil, is clean up here just a little, and then I'm going to come over and make the sauce. So, because the oil actually is quite a bit faster as well as cooking once it's warm. Let's see. I need a little saucepan. Uh-oh. I was prepping ahead of time. I did not get the saucepan out. So, see if I can locate it somewhere here in the house. Here it is. All right. So, Dave's going to share the recipe again. For those of you who are just joining us, we're making sweet and sour chicken. And the sweet and sour chicken is not in our Dining on a Dime cookbook, but the sweet and sour sauce I'm about to make is. So, I'm going to get... Let's see, the show measuring cups. Are they still here? Here they are. Okay. All right, so first I need to start with 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and I only have a 1/2 cup. So I'm going to use my fancy math, and I'm going to say half of this is a 1/2 cup.
Wow.
And, you know, you kind of want to be sort of close, but it's not super urgent, super critical that you're perfect.
Wait, is that a 1 cup?
It's a 1/2 cup. So I need to put 1/4 cup, so I'm just filling it about halfway. Okay, so I'm going to put the 1/4 cup of brown sugar in. Okay, so I'm going to mix the brown sugar and flour in a saucepan. Okay. Warming up the stove just in case. Okay, and I'm not using flour, I'm using cornstarch. Tara said that the cornstarch actually gives it a little bit nicer texture. So, and if you're, I'm not 100% sure, but I think if you would know this if you're gluten-free, but I think if you're gluten-free, cornstarch is safe if you're gluten-free, right? Yeah. Okay, so 1 tablespoon, this is a tablespoon, right? Yeah, okay. And then I need 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. Where did I put the white vinegar? Okay. Tara has all these things in cute little bottles and canisters that aren't marked. So I would have been able to figure out the brown sugar, but not too sure about the, oops. Right here, the oil is sounding just about ready. So let's see. 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. I'm being really careful not to put too much in here. And then the soy sauce. Let me put this back on here. I've already made a huge mess here. I do actually like cooking, and a couple of years ago, Tara and Ellie were out of town for a couple weeks, and at that time, I was doing more cooking for the boys and me. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I actually haven't made this recipe before, but I know how it's made, and it's really not difficult. So, all right, 3/4 of a cup of ketchup. Wow, that seems like a lot of ketchup. All right, oops, we just got a new ketchup, so. All right. Doo-doo-doo. And Tara would just dump this, but I'm a little more paranoid since I haven't really made this before. I don't want to overdo it. So, oops, that's probably overdoing it just slightly. Again, this is a clean measuring cup, so it's not anything wrong with putting it back in the ketchup container. All right. Doo-doo-doo.
It's so terrible. You can't be doing this.
So add the rest of the ingredients except the pineapple. Uh-oh.
Pineapple?
Does that mean the pineapple juice? Yes. Okay. Pineapple juice. What did I do with the can of pineapple? Oh, here it is. All right. So I need 1/3 of a cup of pineapple juice. Reserved out here.
I'll take the pineapple.
I'll take the pineapple.
Do you want it with your chicken? Because that's pretty commonly done.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
All
I'm
right,
not touching
so-
the chicken at all. No.
I'm going to get the pineapple juice. All right, my love, who's not working. The pineapple juice actually goes in also right now, right? Okay. Now, Dave, you can probably put the camera over here for just a second. Heat and stir until it boils and thickens. Okay. Now I've got a slight problem. I've got the chicken ready to go and the sauce stuff here. So I'm going to get the sauce stuff going, and I'm going to kind of try to keep an eye on both at the same time. So that should be all right. Now I hope I'm not going to create a disaster here. All right. So
Okay.
I think I'm going to get another plate so I don't make too much of a mess carrying this over to the pot. So what I'm going to do is take the chicken and I'm going to put some of it in the egg here. This is really not rocket science. Whoa, I'm sounding like Tara.
This isn't rocket science, baseball.
Put some of it in there and then you dip it in the cornstarch just to get it coated. And put that in here. And
Whoa, you're doing 2 at a time?
I'm trying to multitask here.
Whoa.
I got 3 at a time. What a look at that.
Holy smokes.
Any questions or comments so far? Just people saying hi? Is Amy T on yet? Or we already said hi. Wait, did we already say happy birthday to her?
You already said happy birthday.
All right. So, and this can be done pretty fast if you're used to doing it. I'm kind of taking my time a little today, partly because I can. All right. And I was hoping this would be kind of a more mellow chit-chat show, so yay.
So Tara Kelly from Mead, Colorado wants to know who has the best wife in the whole wide world.
I do. So she said Tara Kellum wants to know, in Mead, Colorado wants to know, who has the best wife in the whole wide world? I think that was a trick question, guys. But I was thinking, I do. Sorry to all you other wives out there. But I'm sure you're great wives too. All right. And one thing, I did measure this cornstarch into the bowl. But if I have a lot of chicken here, so I may end up needing more cornstarch and more egg in a little bit, depending on whether we run. Okay, Dave. This is the part where Dad's gonna see if Dad's.
Yo, Jamie said to turn that down because you might burn yourself, but I was
Well, I was wondering because it's making the noise.
I was like, Dad's a tough buff though, so you know. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna do a test here. Okay, this is the scary part. I'm gonna drop one in and see.
Oh,
Okay.
I can't see it, but yeah.
All right, I am now dropping these in the oil. Oh, it's too bad I can't show this to you. Well, maybe I Here.
No, don't. No.
So you can see I just dropped it in the hot oil and it's already starting to fry a little bit. I just put 2 pieces in. And I think that the sound that it makes, right, the sound now is that it's starting to cook. But the sound it was making before, I think, is the sound of the water that was in the pot separating from the boiling oil. So you have to be really careful when you're frying stuff not to actually stick your fingers in there because that oil is frightfully hot. And you also don't want to drop it from real high because it'll splash on you. And that is extremely painful, as Tara has done a lot of times. Okay. Oops, except I might have put it in as clumps, and hopefully that's not I didn't hopefully do that clumpy. All right, so now I'm going to come over here and dip a little more. Dave?
Huh?
So while that's kind of cooking, I'm going to keep an eye on it. And I want to watch them in there because they'll cook pretty quick. But when they look kind of brown, then I will pull them out. And it doesn't take very long for them to actually cook. When they're brown, they're done. So it doesn't take very long to cook in the oil because it's hot. And it goes right through the food. So,
Do you want me to come over here, over there then?
sure.
Do you think I'll need to do any more camera work?
Well, yeah, from time to time. Oops.
Oh.
All right, so my breading stuff looks like it's not staying on very well. I hope I didn't do.
Some of it falls off.
Some of it falls off? Okay. And I think I need to raise the heat because it's just getting happy in there and sitting in its, sitting in there not sizzling or anything. So I turn up the heat a little bit more. Because it should still be making some noise as it goes. I turned it down earlier because I thought I had it too hot. All right, and I'm going to need to add a little more cornstarch here in just a minute because I'm getting to the bottom of the bowl. Wow, I might be overdoing it on the cornstarch, but we'll see.
Wait, did you put all 4 of those chicken breasts?
No,
Oh, okay.
well, there were 5 chicken breasts in the package, and I only used 3, and we would have used only 2 because they're pretty huge, except for the fact that our other kids are probably going to come home and say, "How come I didn't get any?" So I was kind of unloading these into the pot in big chunks, like clumps of chicken all together like this. And I think I might have needed to separate them. Ooh, now it's making a nice happy noise over there. Like, I don't think you could probably hear it, but it sounds like kind of the way soup would be sounding when it's kind of nicely simmering.
Slowly boiling sound.
Yes.
We need to get a deep fryer.
Yeah. I don't know why, for just a second I was thinking of Christmas in Connecticut. If you guys have ever seen that movie, or if you haven't, it's pretty funny. Honky donkey. All right. Whoa. I'm not paying attention to my sauce here. So I'm going to stop with the chicken for just a minute. Get my hands clean. And then go over there and check on that. Okay. So, the chicken is frying along happily. And the sauce I wasn't paying attention to. And thankfully I did not burn it. As you can see, it's coming along nicely. Ooh, actually, wow. Although I probably should have stirred it a little more early on because I think these clumps might be from the cornstarch.
Sweet and sour chicken is literally the best thing.
But I'm stirring this up really rapidly, trying to break up those clumps because I think I should have probably paid a little more attention. They're not really bad. Oh man, this smells really good. All right. And now it's smoothing out nicely. Probably need a sous chef over here. All right, and I'm going to kind of set that a little bit off, not too much on the burner so it doesn't burn while I work on the chicken, which looks like it's getting... All right.
Are we going to the Deep South Homestead Conference in March? Or meeting or whatever.
Don't think we are. We would like to come, but we've kind of been really overwhelmed with doing too many things last year. And so we're sort of in the mode of thinking we're not going to travel anywhere this year.
What what oil are you using?
So I'm using canola oil. You can use regular vegetable oil. Can you use olive oil, dear?
Doesn't really taste the same.
Tar says olive oil doesn't taste the same.
It needs to get browner, Dad. Not
Yeah.
good.
So, when's it gonna be ready?
Well, I'll
Jack,
keep
I
an
called
eye on
first
it.
dibs.
Jack,
I'll keep an eye on it.
Jack is want to be first taste tester.
I already called first
So
dibs
Jack is wondering when it's going to be ready,
this morning.
I love
and
this.
I actually have no idea. I'm
Oh,
keeping an eye on it, but I was waiting for it to turn brown, and it's not brown yet. So, yeah, and actually I have quite a bit of chicken here, so I may not fry it all on the show. But I am going to reload my cornstarch, and eggs we're still doing all right on. So we'll see how that goes.
Egg.
So, ask Nan, so I don't have to ask Mom. How long do you usually let it? How long does that usually take to get brown? It's been like 5 minutes, 6 minutes already. All right. Hello, everyone. I was engrossed in your New Year's Eve show. I forgot which one the New Year's Eve show was. Oh, yeah.
Get it together, people. This is the reason why you're...
Right. Hello, Tamikia. Let's see. Can you say hi to me, please? Ash, sure. Oh, I'm supposed to say to... let me
Mom,
go see.
who isn't working.
You need to cook it a little bit more.
Miss Brina, I'm supposed to say Willkommen. Miss Brina from Germany asked me to say Willkommen the next time that I was on. So if hopefully you're on and you're watching this. So
What did that
Yay.
mean?
it means welcome in German.
Oh.
And that's my best attempt at speaking German, but I don't actually speak German. Yay! Caught you live again. Great. My other live stream just ended. Hooray! All right. I'm just taking a look here while we're waiting for this to finish frying. And do I enjoy cooking? Is that a... I do enjoy cooking. I'm not sure if this is the question from before or if it's a new one, but I do enjoy cooking, but not so much that I do it all the time. But often for myself, I'll cook things without a recipe that I like, and I'll just a lot of times just wing it and say I like some garlic, I like chicken, I like some garlic. If it's Mexican stuff, I might put cumin in it, and I sort of mix up the things that I know I like. But if I'm making something for the family, I often go by recipes, and I like that too. And usually it turns out well, and I'm normally surprised when it does turn out well, which I don't know why I should be. But, all right. I see that this chicken that's waiting to go in is not got enough cornstarch on it, so I was adding a little more while we wait. Yes, Ditching the Grind says, hi Tara, I just saw you by the stove helping Mike. Mainly it's because the frying seems to be taking longer than I'm used to. So I just wanted to make sure. Amy T says, do not deep fry in olive oil. The smoke point is too low. That's the thing I was wondering. So what that means is, we usually fry in canola oil or vegetable oil. But different oils have a different point where they essentially burn. And so if you just pick any oil and try it, you might end up with a big disaster. Like I knew some kids in college who did something like that where they fried a turkey in a trash can, a clean trash can, but it was in those days it was like that was something they were talking about on the news or something, and
It was a why not?
they put the wrong kind of oil in, and they said that the trash can fired up like an afterburner on a jet engine. It was just shooting up into the sky like 12 feet up in the sky or something, and at that point they were. At the university, they were in a dorm, and they were doing this out in front of the dorm, and I guess the fire department came and eventually just told them, it'll be all right, just don't touch it till it burns out.
Jonathan from Florida Singularity said it's called a smoking point.
Jonathan, yeah, the smoking point. Amy mentioned that too.
Alive?
So,
Jonathan's still alive?
Yes, Jonathan
Jonathan is still alive.
In diet?
How's your Well, I know your kind of temporary raw vegan diet thing it seems to be working well for you on the short term. I was seeing Jonathan. Oops, let's see when. Yay! I'm cooking your pasta fagioli from the new Living on a Dime. Actually, I did that on a show one time, and I was pretty amazed at how great it turned out. I wasn't really expecting it. My dad used to make awesome spur-of-the-moment soups with what he had on hand and leftovers. He didn't do any other cooking. Yeah, I'm pretty good at putting together, and of course I'm the one that usually eats most of the leftovers. I'm pretty good at putting together things into something that ends up tasting good. Wow, it's still not turning brown.
Oh yeah.
Tara says I have the heat a little too low.
Turn it all the way up to maximum high.
I think if we turn it on maximum high, it'll totally go up.
Just go up in flames.
Why, thank you, Ditching the Grind. Oh yes, Ben and Grandma mentioned last day to get discounts on the how to save money on groceries and how to organize and clean your house e-courses, and she shared a link right there, so you want to click that.
Oh, what?
Well, one is an e-course and one is just ebooks. But
Okay, let me get back here so I can tell.
but that'll, if you're having any struggle with, kind of how to save in the kitchen, how to plan things and prepare things, that how to save money on groceries e-course is really great for that. It's like a step-by-step thing. Actually, I should read it now again because it's been a long time since I have. The elusive Tara has been spotted. Yes. All right, let me see what else we have here.
Wild Tara.
So I have taken the sauce off because I don't want it to burn, and the chicken has been taking a lot longer than I anticipated. So I will probably put it back on to warm a little bit when the chicken is mostly ready. Let's see.
Not really.
What's everybody on Facebook saying, Dave?
I don't know. I haven't seen Facebook that much.
Nice apron. Thank you very much. No food gloves. Yeah, no. She says lol. Do you think soap making would be a good craft business to sell to craft fairs? We're probably not the best people to ask. Soap making, you can sell soap, but the thing about craft fairs, we haven't had great success selling anything at craft fairs. Have we?
No.
Mrs. Not working over here,
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
making sure he doesn't.
It's not looking done, is it? Oh, it is?
Wait, what? That's
I thought it was supposed to be brown, more brown.
It can get browner, but let's try it and see.
Oh, I thought it was.
All right.
Okay.
So we're going to take this out. I'm sure it's plenty cooked. I just was surprised. I usually expect it to be more brown. Okay. And the next batch probably will be because the oil is hotter now.
Not really. It looks good.
So I'm using a slotted spoon to pull this out and leaving most of the oil in the pan. Although you can't avoid some of it getting on here.
That was good.
Ooh.
Make sure it's a
Nice.
double layered plate because
Yeah.
the oil will start seeping to it.
I'm realizing that as my fingers are saying, ouch!
Ouch!
So Dave is reminding me to make sure that the plate is enough of layers that the oil doesn't seep through.
Don't burn yourself,
All
honey.
right, so I'm going to quickly get I have some other chicken I prepped here. I hope that it's still prepped enough. So I'm going to drop these pieces in individually this time so that they hopefully keep more of the outer crust on them. Oops, I'm burning some cornstarch on the stove, but I'm not going to panic
She put it all over them.
because I've seen fires get put out in the kitchen before.
Why are you stealing all the... She's stealing all the
All the yummy goodness.
sweet and sour chicken.
And how is it?
Hang on, I gotta steal a bite of this. No one
Oops.
else is on the camera except for Dad, so...
All right, so I'm dropping pieces in, but I'm being really careful not to splash it on myself. And I think this is going to work a lot better because the oil is warmer now, and it's really. I wish I could show you. It's really kind of the
Mom's over here.
oil is kind of turning over a lot, and that's a good sign that it's, nice and hot. And I'm going to just put this in there just slightly. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to let that do a little bit more while I get some more of this dipped in the egg and dipped in the cornstarch. Hey, Dave, why don't you get this just for people who haven't been watching? So if you're just joining us, we're making sweet and sour chicken. And this is like the restaurant sweet and sour chicken. And you can save a ton of money on it because you can make a whole bunch of it for $5 in the United States. So if you're not in the U.S., then you'd have to just adjust that. So
It would cost you $30 at the restaurant.
yeah, this would cost, well, this amount of it would probably cost even more than $30 at the restaurant.
Yeah, probably.
I'd say this tastes better than the McDonald's kind.
McDonald's doesn't make sweet and sour. What are you
I mean-
talking about?
Well, than just McDonald's nuggets
Oh,
in
yeah.
general.
Wow,
But-
that's a compliment coming from Dave.
But
Some of you may think McDonald's, but Dave thinks McDonald's is pretty impressive, and he doesn't get it very often. So for Dave, this would be saying this is better than McDonald's is a pretty high praise.
I like the McDonald's nuggets, but I don't really like any of their other stuff, to be honest.
I like McDonald's coffee. That's about all I usually have there.
I'll
So,
take that entire plate of chicken.
Yeah. Okay, I need to check on this frying here because I hear it. Oops, sorry, I put this in here before I put it in the egg.
Whoa.
I am hearing the chicken going bananas over there, so I better get over there. Here. Careful, Dave.
Alright, I'm not a noob at cooking. I know what I'm doing. Probably more than you. I do cooking all the time.
Just chicken stuff off my hands before I come over here and do this part.
Oh, you just got
So that's the
water.
done stuff. It's pretty tasty.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
really hot.
I'm going to stir this around and take a look at it. Actually, it's still doing fine. Because it was making such a noise while it was frying, I thought maybe it was getting ready to do something crazy. But nope, it's looking good. One thing you want to be careful of when you're doing this is, as much as possible, try not to get any oil on the burner. Because we've had, I think, if you have the original Not Just Beans, the black and white one, it has a picture. Oh yeah. Let's see, it's down here somewhere. Okay. This is a picture Tara's brother drew one time when she was cooking something and the oil went over the edge onto the stove. And what that is that's supposed to be his impression of his big sister holding the pan that's flaming. Because if the oil spills, a tiny little bit might be okay, but if a significant amount of it spills on the burner, it'll create a big fire. So you want to be really careful not to do that. So anyway, that was the inspiration for the first picture on our Dining on a Dime, which used to be called Not Just Beans. And for those of you who have the 20th anniversary edition of Dining on a Dime, it has some pictures. It has all the covers, and it has a little story kind of about how we did some of the stuff when we first put together the book. So, Dave, why don't you share the link to the store in case anybody wants to go get that?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And we do have
The book?
for the also, if you're just joining us or if you didn't have a chance to check it yet, we do have a New Year's sale that ends today where we have marked down our How to Save on Groceries e-course, which has like step-by-step instructions, how to plan meals and stuff. And I know planning meals, everybody's like, no, I don't want to do that. But it's really easy the way that it's in the e-course. So if you need help with that, go ahead and pick that up. And people that usually get that or the book find it's that they pay for it really quick when they use. In fact, what was that? Somebody said earlier about how much did she bought Dining on a Dime, and she
Her
said
grocery bill went from $250 a week down to $60 a week.
so. That's pretty cool. Because some people, we've had one lady ask us a couple of weeks ago, why should I buy your book? I'm like, well, you don't have to, but people save more than the cost of it usually. All right, I'm going to stir this up again.
Within the first trip.
Ooh, it's getting nice and crunchy looking. So does the cornstarch just not brown as much as the flour?
Uh-oh. You better tell everybody so they know Dad did a good job. Tell them.
What do you,
It's
Jack?
good.
Come here on camera and say so.
It's really good.
It's
Except
really good.
for... No, not really.
What am I hearing an except for?
It's really good. But Mom makes better.
Oh,
Oh!
not what you told me.
Yes, that is what I told you.
It's really good, but Mom makes better. So what does Mom do differently? Because this is the same
Savage.
kind of chicken that Mom uses.
That's our recipe.
It's the same crust that Mom uses.
I'm sure he added too much of something.
I think
it's the same
Because-
crust.
because
Mom's has love.
Yes, I'm
Mom's
sure.
has extra mom love in it. That's what it is.
Mom's has
It's
extra
an N.
house.
So what did I tell you earlier that we were going to make, Jack?
We're gonna make fajita.
I was thinking about making fajitas. I'd really like to make asada tacos, but when I was looking at the price of the meat, I thought, wow, it'd be hard to make it on a show where we're talking about saving money on food. But I still might make the asada tacos later. For those of you who don't know, asada is like a thinly cut steak, like usually skirt steak or flank steak, kind of like you would use for fajitas. And it's usually like onions and cilantro and stuff like that on a corn tortilla. It's fantastic. And I haven't actually made it, but I've eaten a lot of it over the years. Because, as I mentioned before, I just love and adore all foods Mexican. And so I was going to try to make that while Tara's
Ooh,
not on.
Goshen's on. Hello.
Hello, out of Goshen.
Oh, yeah, they've been on for a little bit. So did you guys try my eye trick?
So even though that's not really colored brown, that's totally fine, right?
Yeah. It's brown. No, it's not. It's not.
I guess it's a little brown.
Why
If-
wouldn't you put a greasy spoon on the counter? What difference does it make?
That's not a greasy spoon there, actually. It's not grease. It's sugar. But I guess sugar would burn just as much. I actually put it between the burners, so if you're worried about that, it's not anywhere near. It's more dangerous, the oil that I'm dripping off right here. So,
Oh, look at that.
yeah, be careful.
Burn 'em. Jake, pick it up quick.
Wait, don't pick it up. It's hot oil.
Oh.
I
Oh.
dropped
Oh,
a piece
it's
of
hot
chicken there. Why don't you
It's
grab?
fine. Here. I thought you took all the hot oil off of it.
Well, the hot oil dripped off, but some of it stays on there, which is why fried food has more calories.
Jack's over here watching comments.
No.
All right, so
Commenting.
Sure, no one is dying.
I'm going to show you guys kind of what this is looking like right here up close. If this was flour, it would probably look a little more brown than it looks, but this is actually browned, and Tara says that even though this doesn't look as brown, that it gets really, really nice and crispy.
It's really crispy.
And actually what's funny is I just got this plate, so I made a whole plate like this, and while I was frying the next batch, the first plate completely vanished. And I realize, as I say that everyone's all around here picking at it. So you guys have to leave me some. before this is
Mine?
Yeah, Jack rates 125 out of 10.
Okay, I'm gonna get myself a small bowl. So that I can
Yay.
cool mine off.
Careful, Jack. Stand back from there. Oh, you guys didn't even eat the sweet and sour. Do you want me to give you some sauce?
I did, it was good.
Oh.
Mother, you're not working.
Wait, where
I
is
wasn't
the
working,
sauce?
I was just looking at my friends. Because all my friends are in the computer.
Stand back, Jack.
Oh wow, that means something, doesn't it?
I'm just wiping off the cornstarch that landed on the burner because I didn't want it to flame. Doo-doo-doo. The funny thing is, I guess Tara is a little self-conscious about it too. I thought it was just me, but I don't think I would handle flames as well as she does. Well, let me rephrase that. If I'm the guy who's cooking, I handle them fine when I'm the second person in the room.
Test it in my clean kitchen.
What?
Don't test it in my clean kitchen.
I'm not going to set anything on fire. Although, we did install some new smoke detectors recently, so it would be a good opportunity to try them. All right, well, that's kind of starting out. I'm going to probably do up the rest of this chicken here, and I have a whole lot of cornstarch on this plate.
Let's
Dave,
go push the
go ahead and tilt down here again. So, again, if you're just joining us, we're making sweet and sour chicken here on the Living on a Dime Show.
.com.
Yeah.
Save money. I mean, what?
We're having a nice, relaxing show. Hey, if you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you go watch the. I did a show on Monday about not letting your feelings lead you. And really, it's one of the most important life lessons that people can have, because a lot of people think, oh, go with your feelings, chase your feelings, and but your feelings will, on important decisions, your feelings will betray you. And that really relates to spending money and groceries and raising children and having a successful relationship with your spouse, your significant other. So I strongly recommend that you guys go check that out. Wow, I'm thinking there might just be enough egg left in this for all this chicken. And I am making sort of a mess here, but that's part of the fun, right?
Nope.
No. Some people will probably be freaking out completely. I probably used to be one of them. So,
Until
actually,
Mom slapped you.
for those who are asking,
I've never slapped Dad at all.
well, only in a fun way. Well, no, not that kind of a fun way. Sorry.
Dad.
I'm sorry, that was not... Okay, I'm going to stop talking now. For those of you who asked earlier in the show if I like cooking, yes, but I think I might have liked it more if I had been cooking. My grandmother, when I was a kid, all right, my grandmother had a farm in Louisiana, and it was a really nice family farm that had been, I think, 3 generations in the family at that point, and they had a barbecue house. So they had a small house that had been added onto as the family was able to afford it, and it became a big house when I was a kid, and it had all these nooks and crannies, and it had been added onto a lot, so there were a lot of secret little areas. It was really a fun place to spend time in the summer as a kid. And I'm still breading these, by the way. They had a barbecue house in the backyard, which was a house that had it had a closet, kind of a big closet, that was sort of a walk-through mudroom type closet with 3 or 4 freezers, and they had a whole bunch of meat for barbecuing in there, and then there was a huge kind of family room in the middle that had kitchen stuff all the way around 2 walls and a pool table in the middle. So they would be in there and they would barbecue. They entertained a lot of people, and they would barbecue and have people would be playing pool in there, and it was a really kind of fun thing.
How much was the meal?
This meal?
Yeah.
So this sweet and sour chicken that we're making today is about $5 for 6 people? 4 to 6 people. Oh yeah, and Tara said we usually serve it with a vegetable when everybody's not picking it off the plate faster than I can make it, and we usually serve it with a vegetable like broccoli. Broccoli is kind of a family standby that everybody likes. Mostly, I think the kids like it best when we cook it. And we just have this little steamer, which is basically a kind of a hard plastic cooking container with a lid. See if I have it here. I don't see it. Oh, well. Yeah. So we have this steamer, and we just put you can see it's been used a lot. We just put it in here with a little bit of water in the bottom, and then we put as much broccoli as we think everybody wants, and we put it in the microwave. And it's not really microwaving it. It is microwaving it, but it's steaming it more than it's microwaving it because it's heating up the water. And so we usually put that in, and it's pretty quick. And our kids like broccoli that way, and so we figure it's one of our most common things. Also, they like baby carrots, so sometimes Tara will just put some baby carrots out and some cucumbers and peppers, like bell peppers, but the younger kids don't usually eat the bell peppers so much.
Well, can you cook these ones a little bit more than the other ones? I want to see if you can make it any browner.
Oh no, that is good stuff. Okay, so
Make it brown.
why don't you get another plate out real quick?
Make it omega brown.
And
A real plate or a fake plate?
well, I was thinking about grab a real plate and a paper plate, and maybe grab the rice out of the fridge. We also tend to cook more rice than we need, and then we microwave it however much we think we're going to need, whenever we need it. So I'll show you the kind of container we have some fairly large plastic containers that we store it in, and You know, you can't keep it forever. If it starts to smell like shoes, then you know it's been in the fridge too long. But I usually make a fairly large pot of it, and then we put it in a plastic container like this. And if it's kind of still moist, I'll leave it. But if it's not, I can add a little bit of water. And then when we microwave it, same thing, it kind of steams. And I'm not going to do the whole thing since I'm just doing this for demonstration, since it seems like pretty much everybody's not that enthusiastic about the rice today. But
I'm all about the chicken.
usually for Tara and me, we will make
All over it.
we'll have some rice, and then we will put the chicken either on it or next to it, and then pour some sauce on it. The boys prefer the sauce on the side, so we have
Or ranch.
we have some bowls that are about half this bowl size, and we'll put a little bit of the sauce in there, and they'll dip it. Dave also likes, even though we do it to eat like his Chinese food, Dave also likes to dip this in ranch dressing sometimes. So, oh, this is a clean bowl here, isn't it? I might put a little bit of this. So I'm rewarming the sauce just so I can test it. And let's see, here's some. By the way, I have washed my hands since I was working with the raw chicken, and now this is the cooked chicken. Mmm. 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 That's really good. So I would suggest if you make this right according to the recipe, you really can't go wrong. But if you taste it and you think it tastes a little too much like the soy sauce or tastes a little too much like whatever, you can feel free to modify that as much as you like. So
Tracy wanted to know if the e-course has any videos included
yes.
and why she would want to order it.
Well, what I would suggest is that you go look at the grocery e-course page, because it talks about everything that's in it, and I think there's, I want to say 10 videos. It has step-by-step instructions, pretty easy. It also has like pre-made meal plans, and then it also has information about how to plan meals quickly. So those are reasons I would suggest, but the page itself explains in greater detail. So normally, I just dipped this one for myself. Normally we would put it on a plate, and then for Tara and I, we would probably put a little bit of sauce on it like this. And we're not really doing that much of the sauce lately, just because we're kind of keeping our calories down a little bit. But this is about how much we would probably make. We probably have more chicken than that, but as far as the sauce and the rice, we would sort of just lay it out like that. We probably have twice as much chicken like that as that. And then, you know, if somebody's hungry, they can get more. But one thing Tara likes to do is put all the food on the plate and take that to the table, as opposed to just having it like a buffet. Because if it's all on the table, everyone eats more. And, you know, if everybody's hungry, it might be okay to eat a little more. But when it's on the table, it's just people are more prone to reach for it because it's right in front of them. So, wow.
It is amazing.
Wow, I forgot I still have one more plate of chicken here. So, any questions or comments right now?
Somebody wants to know if you want a hot date.
If I want a hot date, well, is that lady in the other room? At this place? Is that lady in Meade, Colorado?
Yeah, she said she was for me.
So for those of you who are like, what? That lady is probably my wife, most likely.
Hopefully.
Which
Hopefully.
one lady?
The lady that asked if I want a hot date.
Oh.
Wait,
You
tonight?
think that's Mom?
Yep.
Probably so.
Nah, it's not her. She wouldn't ask you that. No.
Yeah. Actually, what's funny, guys, is sometimes a few people that come on to hassle us might be Tara's brother. Although he doesn't usually hassle me, he hassles her because that's what brothers do.
Dad, what's this?
Wow, this smells so good. It's hard to share that without the smell-o-vision.
Sorry.
It's okay. Whoa, is that my laugh?
Yeah, I was trying to turn it off.
We should have a poll about Mike's laugh. I'm not sure Mike would want to know the answer. All right. So here's another batch of it.
Dad.
Ooh, it's nice and brown. Again, like I said, this is more crunchy using the cornstarch. It probably would turn a browner color with the flour, but we prefer this. And if you're gluten-free, you can use the cornstarch. And watch out, it's really hot still. If you're gluten-free, you can use the cornstarch, and you know, if you're gluten-free, you probably know all this already, but you can use cornstarch, and then just there's really nothing else that has flour in it of what I'm using. So that was one nice thing when, for a while, I was trying gluten-free because I wasn't sure. I had
Tip it forward on the camera so we can see better.
the fried stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, Dave, I was wondering if Dave could just lift the camera up.
There's the.
Well,
Oh,
you can't see the.
you mean like bring this over here? It's kind of boiling real fast. Oops. You can see it's frying right there. I'm gonna take it back over here. So it's got to be submerged in the oil, but I really only had about an inch of oil in here when I started. So, oh, by the way, we do end up reusing a lot of our oil. Do we reuse the raw chicken oil, dear? I mean,
Yeah.
we reuse the raw chicken oil, and for those of you who might say, ew, first of all, we put it in the fridge, and we don't keep it forever. But as hot as it is right here, there's nothing live in there. So one thing that I don't know if people know about chicken, when it's raw, a lot of times chicken may have some bacteria that you don't want to spread all over your house. And what am I saying? The bacteria can't live when it's really, really hot. So this oil is, how hot do you think? Probably 400 or 500 degrees? What? It's at least 350 degrees. There's nothing that can live in 350 degrees. So there's no, I'm washing my hands by the way. There's no danger in keeping that oil for a little bit.
Like, even if you were in 350 degrees, you would die in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in general, there are some germs that can probably survive in hotter than that, but in general, most things don't thrive very well over about 140 degrees. But they have to be over that for an extended amount of time. When it's 350 degrees, it doesn't take very long to kill everything. So while that's cooking, I'm going to do this. Dave,
Huh.
can you look on Facebook and YouTube and see what other kind of conversation we can have?
Oh, some lady wants to know if you want to go on a hot date. I cannot believe you asked it. Why?
We should have a contest where we go to someone's house and cook. That would be fun. Love the Pioneer Woman jar by the stove. Oh, this one right here? Tara actually tried to convert all of our flour and sugar and stuff, but they're smaller than our other ones. So, but that's rice, so yeah. And is this Pioneer Woman also, dear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's very similar looking though, so that's pretty funny.
Can you do cornstarch and oil? I mean,
That's
chicken
brown
oil?
sugar.
Can I
Can you
have
do
some?
cornstarch and flour?
I just did cornstarch. You can do cornstarch or flour. Or if you wanted to mix them, you could, but I don't. We never do that. What? So Tara told me that normally she puts about 2 inches of oil in the pan. I put about an inch because that's all we had. And it's doing fine with just the 1 inch. Mainly you want to make sure that when you put the chicken in there that it's actually submerged in the oil. Because any part that sticks out, if it never gets submerged at any time in the cooking, then it's not going to be cooked. And you would want to make sure. But if it's submerged in the oil for just even a short amount of time, especially when it starts to get kind of crunchy and a little more firm like that, it's definitely cooked all the way through. So, but yeah, I used about an inch of oil. Mainly just, I've seen places when my grandmother, I mentioned in the South, in Louisiana, they would have the pot half full of oil or more. Of course, they would have bigger pots too because they had a whole bunch of people over. It was actually a lot of fun growing up, going to her house. So they cooked a lot all the time. And mostly I didn't cook there. but I spent a lot of time there, and it was fun spending, summer weeks in the summer there. So, as I'm, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Yes. Although, normally if I wasn't doing this on the show, I'd probably cook it all before I'd call the boys in. But they're quite enjoying it. Yeah, Jill says you can use vegetable oil. If somebody's asking, I know you can use canola oil. I know you can use vegetable oil. If you have olive oil, probably not, because Amy T and some other people said that its smoke point is, I don't remember if it's higher or lower, but basically what that means is when you heat it up a lot, it's more likely to become a blowtorch. Yeah, you have to be careful by the oil. And you don't want it to become a blowtorch. That would just kind of ruin your whole day. So, David's having a blast eating it. Yeah, okay, you guys are going to need to stop so I can have some. Looks like a great appetizer. Yes, actually, I guess I had 3 large chicken breasts. They were about this big. And that cut into quite a lot of little chicken pieces. And if you weren't here at the beginning of the show, when it's over, you can go back and see. There was a huge pile of chicken. The idea was to have some left over for the older kids. But because I'm not able to police it quite as much while I'm standing back here,
I'm done for the
I
night.
think that we may have used quite a bit more.
Don't worry about it. I'm done for the night.
And for those of you who are just joining us again, we are making... Oh, actually, Dave, why don't you share some links for me? We're making sweet and sour chicken and sweet and sour sauce. And the sauce actually is in our Dining on a Dime cookbook. And it's kind of dark brown like this, but if you modified it a little bit, it might not be. But it tastes really, really tastes good. But we always kind of adapt things to our own tastes as we go, too. The sweet and sour sauce recipe is in our Dining on a Dime cookbook. Dave will share a link to that. If you don't have it, you might want to check it out because...
And I'm also posting in the links for the cookbook and the sale.
It's a great book if you are not very comfortable with cooking, or if you have never really learned very much, or if you love cooking and you want a whole bunch of recipes. There was something else I was thinking about it. Also, if you... It's great for saving because most of the recipes, when we made the original version of the book, Tara was really making only recipes that were very inexpensive to make. When we did the 20th anniversary edition, which is a new one, we added 28 more recipes. I think it was 100 pages and 28 more. You might have to go look at the sales page to make sure I said that right. And some of those recipes are fancier recipes. Mostly they're dessert recipes that cost a little more because now people aren't quite as concerned about being really tight financially as they were at the time we made the book. So, yeah, it's great. And Dave also will share the link to the...
I already did.
Did you share the link to the recipe?
I shared all 3.
Okay. So Dave did share the link to the recipe on the website. If you miss any of the links that we're sharing, you can go to livingonadime.com and click show notes, and everything is there, and also stuff from previous shows. So, not the main, if we talked about something that people were interested in, the link would be on there. So I'm going to pull the last of this. Well, it is actually getting to be the end of the show time. Let me show you real quick. Tilt down just a little, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
So this is, you probably put a little bit more than this. We'd probably serve about this much chicken with it. And the sauce is, you can totally use as much or as little as you want. Like I said, Tara and I are staying kind of not too much with the sauce. And then we put the rice. And then we'll serve that with... usually we might make some broccoli that's steamed, and that's about it. We don't get into 18-course meals normally. If Tara wants to make it really easy, like I said, she'll do baby carrots and cucumbers. Or today Jack was saying if we had peas, he'd be okay with peas. So we usually try to make some kind of vegetable, a lot of times some kind of green vegetable, and then a little bit of the starch and the other food. So,
are you a counselor or in the ministry?
I'm not technically, no, but a counselor, I'm not officially a counselor, but I do talk to a lot of people about a lot of things, and I think it helps. Oh, my hat says, what does my hat say? May the forks be with you. So.
Does this reheat well? Yes, in the oven.
Tara said there's a question about whether this chicken reheats well. Yes, it reheats great in the oven. You can microwave it if you want it fast, but it won't be as crunchy. So, yeah. I'm not a counselor, but I have a gift of being able to talk to people, and it's easier when it's face to face for me.
She
And
said that you seem so wise. That's because you learned it from me.
oh yeah, Tara says I'm wise because I learned it from her, and it's probably from, having to figure out how to negotiate with.
Oh man, that was straight fire.
And I'm not a pastor or a preacher. I am a Christian, and I'm happy to talk about my faith because growing up, I was one of the people that thought, oh yeah, here's those Jesus people again, and I really thought God was kind of distant and angry and judging me, and I didn't think I had done anything wrong, which now I think is kind of amusing. And when I finally came to know him and realized who he was, I was thinking, wow, I wish I had known this earlier. So anyway, I'm not a pastor or preacher. I do happily talk when people want to know. I don't push people that don't want to know. But it has helped a lot with kind of counseling, because between that and my life experience in general, because we've had a lot of life experience, Tara and me, and
A lot
and
of
our
counseling.
kids. And I've had a lot of counseling, largely to deal with things that happened when I was younger. Some of them I still struggle with, but between Jesus and the counseling, I'm most of the way. I mean, I'm not a shadow of who I used to be. So, and I think the part that's still there is just there as a reminder to keep me humble. So I don't think I'm more important than I am. But I have worked at a church on staff. I really don't feel like I'm called to be a pastor, but
Amen.
but I am interested in possibly
You have a
doing a Bible
burn,
study
Dad.
or kind of a blended sort of counseling show. That would be probably on a different channel, but I would definitely make note of the fact that I was doing it there on this channel, so everybody that wants to can know where that is. So yay!
Well, that's all we have for this show.
Are we done? No more comments? Questions?
No, it's just we gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah, Dad, one thing about Dad is he's really gifted at speaking a lot.
He's bad dad.
He has the gift of gab.
Of course, I'm saying that as I'm wrapping up the chicken here. I have the gift of gab, yeah. And I didn't even kiss the Blarney Stone. So, if you don't know about that, kissing the Blarney Stone is supposed to give you the gift of gab. So Tara was falling on her knees and praising God when she found out he didn't kiss it. So, anyway. All right. Well, let's see. Any questions? Great show. Let's see if Dave can find a recipe. I was thinking if I could get a recipe that Dave and Jack could cook without me, that would be really cool.
I would kill Jack before the show was over.
Oh, you would not.
Yeah.
Your brother.
They do like
no, I'd
to do.
accidentally spill like oil on him or something. And then
We do have a no-bake fudge cookies that the kids, they still have to cook it. Oops. They still have to cook it in a pan, but it's not a baking thing, and it's pretty safe for the older kids, and they love to do that. So maybe we'll do something like that.
Watch what?
Anyway,
Why is it gonna do?
oops, I'm making a mess here while I'm trying to fetch the rest of this chicken. So I guess since we're overtime now, oh, thank you everyone for all your wonderful comments.
All right, time to get off the show. I'm hungry.
All right, I'm being summoned to go. Tara, you have to come back with a good statement. She will definitely say,
Oh, have mercy.
she'll have plenty to say, I'm sure.
Oh, have
All
mercy.
right. Yes, praise the Lord. Thank you very much, everyone. All right. Well, sure appreciate all of you. We'll be glad to see you again on Monday. And I hope you have a wonderful week. And I hope your New Year's going great. Oh, yes. Please visit us at livingonadime.com and let's see, subscribe, and share. And if you are interested in possibly getting the grocery e-course or the organizing and cleaning e-books, those are on sale as part of our New Year's sale. You want to get it today because it's a lot cheaper than usual. So you can go to livingonadime.com and click on the store, or Dave's been sharing the links there as well. And just a little hint for those of you who might need books for gifts. We're probably going to run a sale on our classic Dining on a Dimes, the original ones, because we have new ones coming in, and we want to make more space for that. And the postage rates in the United States are about to go up, so we thought we'd give a big discount and have a sale on that for those of you who want that. So just a heads up, that's coming. We're not doing it right now, but just so, because I've had a lot of questions about classic books, and that we will be doing that probably next week. So anyway, I think that's it for today. Bye. Have a great night. We'll see you later. Or day if you're in Australia.
Bye.
Who is breaking that?
That totally